just to let the public know, our Economic Development Office was hosting a group that was visiting this area yesterday and today. It's a solar panel manufacturing company. Apparently, I talked to the brokers of the property that they looked at, and it seems to have gone very well. So we'll have more updates on that as we move along. There was also a delegation from China that we hosted last week. They brought in a number of people, about 7 or 11 people that were here looking to make some investments. We hope that turns out well. Those were brought in by someone else into the city, but we hosted them and gave them a tour of the facility. Please, if we could have a status update on the funds that we talked about. I sit on the LTA board at the county level, Transportation Agency, and in my discussions with the director of that board, or who handles the proceedings for that board, we learned that the city is able to receive $300,000+ specifically designated towards bus stops and benches and things like that, so it may tie into what the requests were. If we can get a status as to how our application or what needs to be done. I know that it's on a yearly cycle, so if we're in August, we need to pull those funds as fast as we can and use them for continuing bus stops and things like that. Downtown, Ralph, just like you to look into, there's a property as you come across the border that's immediately adjacent to, there's a billboard there that's across the street from Mueta. It's an empty lot, it has weeds, it's just dirt, and apparently it's always used as a parking lot. For one, it looks terrible, and two, the cars going in and out of that parking lot are, there's some environmental concerns there. So just if they can fix it up, if it is a parking lot, then they need to pave it or put some type of mitigation rocks or sand or whatever. So just looking into that. That's it for me. I think tomorrow we're talking to a youth group at the One Stop. If anybody wants to join me, it's I believe it's at 11 o'clock. About 100 youth between the ages of 12 and 18. They asked if there was anybody that was interested to talk about growing up in the city and accomplishments that may have people have had growing in the city, and so just showing them that good things can come out of Calexico. Okay, that's it for me. City council items. We have the consent agenda. Anybody wishing to pull any item from the consent agenda?
Yes, I'd like to pull number 1 and number 3.
Number 1 and number 3. I believe item 6, are we having a special meeting item number 6?
Actually, I believe staff's going to ask that number 6 is continued, as well as the item for the special meeting is going to be continued, I believe, to September 2nd.
Yes. Okay, so item number 6 continued to September 2nd. Okay, any other items? Do I have a motion to approve item 2, 4, 5, and 7?
Mr. Mayor, what about number 8?
I'm sorry?
Number 8.
Number 8 as well, RDA items? Is that under the consent agenda, or did
Yes.
you separate
Yes.
the new format?
Yes. The city council items and the RDA items, they're under consent, are just separate so that we can be clear which ones are which.
Got it, okay. So motion to approve item 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, and 10. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have first and second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, item number 1, Councilman Romero.
Just on the wording, it was on the minutes, it shows, it has a comment there. Let me go to it. On page number 4, second to last paragraph, this item was pulled by Councilman Romero who started that we would like to see this office provide services to people from Mexico. Actually, it was more of a change of language than the way it was in there. The resolution itself is to provide the services to people from Mexico. There was a change of language that was the use of Mexicans and people from Mexico.
We have requested it to state citizens of Mexico. Louis, was that done? That was done, right?
Yes, but
We have the minutes reflect that.
resolution is for this expenditure. And that's it.
Item number 3.
Yes. Again, in reviewing item number 3, Judy, being that it is in the negative, is the budget or what is expected down the line is it in order to be able to compensate for this loss that we're having in July?
I'm not sure I totally understand the question, but is the budget as it was adopted, does it allow for this?
Yes.
Provided all the departments stay within their designated budgets, so if they're a little bit over right now, then they need to be, they need to go under for other, let me put it this way. If everybody was to spend an equivalent amount every month, it would be 8.33% of their budget for every month. So if they're over that right now, then in any other month, they've got to cut expenditures. So it's going to be real critical for departments to stay within their budgets this year. So, if they're going over in overtime, then they need to cut some other area of their budget to compensate.
And has direction been given to the different departments to get under the budget?
Yes, in fact, both of the last two department head meetings, I personally have spoken to department heads about monitoring their budgets very carefully. A memo went out to the city manager, encouraging the departments to curtail spending. Of course, there's day-to-day operations. We can't stop spending completely, but anything that's unnecessary. And we are also freezing vacant positions. There is some vacant positions in the budget, but we are not hiring those until we see where we are.
In the future reports of this, can you include how we're going to date, not just what it was the previous month?
Yes, and these are very preliminary, but I felt it was very, very important to get this information out to everyone. June, we aren't, because of the accruals we have to do at the end of the year and the closing and everything, it takes a period of time. And we have to record all those invoices. We are still getting a few invoices for last fiscal year, so those have to be accrued into the year. So we don't have a final June at this point. Once we do and we have a final fund balance, then we'll know, where we're starting the year. For July, I didn't include a fund report simply because we didn't have, accurate numbers for the end of June. But I thought it was very important to see where the revenues stand for July against what the expenditures are currently. And obviously, our revenues, are very low for the month of July. We anticipate that will increase as the months go by, simply because of the way the revenues are generated, especially those that we receive from the county, the property taxes, the property tax inland, those kinds of things. But yes, we hope to get something out as early as possible after the end of each month.
Okay, and if you can include also the current date for the fiscal year. For example, right now, the minus that it is in for July, if there's a plus in August, don't just declare that there was a plus in August. We're on July and August, now the net is so much.
Oh, yes, okay. Yeah, and it should be a little bit easier. The reports will be a little more detailed. The July report is very simple, simply because we didn't have the ending for June. But yeah, we'll be probably trying to do a more comprehensive report.
Thank you,
Judy, along those lines, I know at some point I remember, I'll just say it this way. Can you provide, besides the detailed report that you will provide to us, can you provide a breakdown and do it by department and put the department head name next to the department and just give us what percentage of the budget, just a cleaner summary, a synopsis of everything else? And can you also provide that to Carla so that Carla can be posting that on the internet, on the web, so that anyone that wants to access that on a weekly basis or monthly basis can have access to that? We're trying to revamp our website to get more information.
Are you less concerned about individual line items than you just want totals for each department? Is that or?
Total for each department.
Okay.